Over the last 10, 15 years, the SNP has done incredibly well in Scottish elections, but badly in UK general elections. Partly because in general elections, voters think, well, who do I want governing the UK? But next May, because of the consequence of the referendum, the SNP have a very good general election appeal, which is vote SNP to hold London's feet to the fire, to make sure they deliver more powers for Edinburgh. Now, in the last general election, Labour won 41 seats in Scotland, the SNP just 6. Well, if the SNP can match Labour in votes, the general election, then Labour could lose a shed load of seats to the SNP and make a real difference to the Labour-Conservative balance in the general election. UKIP are an interesting position. 2 or 3 months ago I would have expected them to win no seats, maybe just 1 or 2 as a general election, but they've had now 2 defections, high profile MPs. They're going to win at least 1, possibly both by-elections that are coming out of that. They did well in the European elections, and therefore I think there's a real possibility that UKIP could win a handful of seats in an arc from round to the east coast, from Humber round to Kent, 4 or 5, maybe as many as 10 if they do really well. But also they could have an impact on a lot of Conservative Labour margins, because if they starve the Conservatives of traditional Tory voters who switch to UKIP and don't go back to the Conservatives, that could hand those seats to Labour. If the Conservatives do manage to pull those votes back from UKIP in those marginals, then the Tories are in a much better place. So UKIP not only might win seats itself, but it might have a decisive impact, even in seats it doesn't itself have the remotest chance of winning. It's now quite hard to see how either Labour or Conservatives will win an outright majority at the next election. I don't see a big enough gap, margin of victory, Labour or Conservative over Conservative or vice versa, to give them an outright majority.